let's just turn to Iran for a moment. I should just say that, in terms of programming notes, there's a lot of stories that we're working on getting folks on to talk to us about the potential for a train strike, which could be, about a week and a half away. We're going to be talking next week about COP27, which happened over the past couple of weeks. I anticipate we're going to have another guest on to give us an update about what's happening in Iran. I think to a large extent, the protests in Iran have had more durability than I think a lot of people anticipated they might, because you have an authoritarian theocratic regime there that doesn't really in any way allow for protest typically in the scale that we're seeing it now. And that's what makes this clip we're about to play that much more sort of surprising in some ways. There has been a lot of video that you've seen of women who have refused to wear the hijab in public and have sort of made protests out of this, and they have been harassed in small and larger ways. And the Iranian the soccer team, I guess they lost yesterday in what the Iranian regime is now saying was a fault of the protesters. This clip and this is from yesterday, was this after the loss? From after the loss, we have an Iranian soccer player who had this to say, which, as far as I can tell, involves a tremendous amount of bravery. I don't know if he's going to end up going back to Iran or what, but listen to this.
And there are subtitles if you want.
And there are subtitles. I guess I'll read them.
Before
anything added, I would like to express my condolences to all bereaved families in Iran. They should know that we are with them. We support them and we sympathize with them. We have to accept that the conditions in our country are not right. Our people are not happy. We are here, but it does not mean that we should not be their voice or we must not respect them. Whatever we have is for them, and we must fight, we must perform the best we can.
ما هر چی داریم از مردممون هست و ما اینجا هستیم که
and to score goals and present the bereaved people of Iran with results.
بهترین عملکردمون رو توی زمین بذاریم و گل بزنیم و گلمون رو تقدیم به مردم داغدار
I hope the conditions change to accept the expectations of the people.
که شرایط اونطور که مردممون میخوان رقم بخوره و همه شاد بشن.
I mean, that's to do that, particularly on the world stage, I imagine it takes just a tremendous amount of courage. I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen to that guy if that player is planning on heading back to Iran. I imagine he is. And must know that he's going to be greeted at the airport in not a terribly friendly way.
And notably, that was like his name is Ehsan Hajsafi. He's the captain of the team. So, and I mean, not just like a backbend. Not to say it wouldn't matter any less, but just the fact that he's like.
Well, you're speaking for the Iranian
for the team and as well as the country there, and I agree. This is to see this much attention to dissent in Iran, and where the media is very, very, very suppressed. My grandmother has not had internet for the last few months living in Tehran, so haven't been able to video call her on WhatsApp as a result for the last few months. For a lot of this attention to get out of the country and a lot of this coverage to get out of the country, I think is kind of a sea change, and it's heartening to see. But of course, I worry about people like this guy.
Well, you also see, there were 2 actresses that were arrested over the weekend, high-profile Iranians who are now being more vocal and speaking out about this. And there are hundreds who have died that we know of from Iranian security forces. And you get more and more reports that just are even more harrowing. Cops open firing in a Tehran metro station on protesters and things like that. And so the fact that what we know is horrible. What we don't know is also most likely even worse.
Yeah, at least 16,000, protesters arrested. As of a couple of days ago, at least 350 were dead. I think the U.S. has, expressed support for the Iranian people in these protests. And there's, it's always dicey as to how far you want the U.S. to outwardly show support. I mean, I would imagine that the United States has always had some conduits on the ground to try and foment some measure of dissent, but this seems to be much more organic than protests that we may have seen in the past in various places. And sometimes too much support from the U.S. is problematic in these instances, at least too much public support. So we'll see. We got a couple of words from our sponsors, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what's taking place in Colorado Springs, what we know that is new, but also, the way that the right is reacting to it, because, we don't have we don't have much, I should say, we don't have conclusive evidence that this guy targeted the Q nightclub because there was a drag show that night, there was a drag brunch the next day, but it would not be irrational to assume that's what this was about. And also, it is beyond a doubt that the right has been fomenting this as a concerted effort. I think for the Republican Party, it was an electoral strategy which failed miserably. And for a lot of people on the right, it's both a career and a career strategy and they've decided their fundamentalist mission. But we'll talk about that in a second. It's hard for me to even bring it up without getting mad. And so, but I got to take this break for our sponsors. Hey, this video is sponsored by Established Titles. What is Established Titles? It is a fun novelty gift that also helps you preserve some natural woodlands. It's a project based on historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number. So what happens is they plant a tree with every order. They work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, to support global reforestation efforts. And you get one of these certificates. I'm a lord. I'm also a lady, too. I can be both. There's no reason I can't be. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to our plot. If you want to become a lord and lady, we can create our own majority report kingdom. So check it out. You can also, on official documents where they use a prefix, you can call yourself lord or lady. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running a massive Black Friday sale right now. Plus, if you use the code MAJORITY, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/majority to get your gifts now and help support the channel.